now we're going to look at the rest of the plan here for Doug's case study. He's got some goals. We've put a couple of them in here. An MBA, maybe some married with some kids, some other things, better job. We need to look at the rest of the goals, make sure we put them in here. So we're going to go back to the original case study and look through this. And he says married and have at least 2 kids, so that's a couple things we have to think about. Working in startups, big payoff for nothing at all. So we've got some 2 different forks in the road there for him. Owning a house, maybe not in Belmont, maybe not in the Bay Area. Maybe he can work that if he's a programmer, a tech person, he can work remotely. Cars aren't important, but they are going to stop running here, so we have to worry about the car. Married, a couple of years, and a $20,000 number on the wedding. What else? Is there anything else in here? Future children, in-home nanny, after-school care, summer care, $10,000 per year for the kid, for per kid. What else? We go down here. We got some insurance coverage and some other things we should put in here. So let's see if we can put a few of these things in the plan here. In 2016, his car is 12 years old, so we got to start looking at car. So I'm going to write car in there sooner or later. The other thing is we got this MBA here, which is something he's got to look at. The other things were you just go through. There's house. We want a house and a wedding. So we want, let's do house and married comes with wedding. So we've got a bunch of things going on that we need to kind of fit into this first part of life. And this happens with most young people, is that all of a sudden they've got a lot of things going on and they need to fit them into their financial plan. Of course, that gets them into debt. And they can stay that way for a long period of time, especially if they start raising kids. So we'll see how this impacts this plan. So we've got a couple things going on. We've got our income, as you can see down here. Cash flow is just barely positive, and that's on a pretty stark reality in life. We're not spending a lot of money on anything. We have no car payment, no Christmas gifts, no vacation. We have gotten rid of the credit card. But we're not making very much money yet either. We're 25, 26 years old. We want to go back and get our MBA. So there's a few things going on here. We need to start throwing some numbers in here and seeing how this works out. So the first thing I'm going to do is put the stuff in there that's easier controlled by Doug than controlled by outside forces. And so the wedding is kind of controlled by other forces. So we're not sure about married and wedding. That's kind of going to be up to other people and what's going on. MBA and car is controllable. So let's start with putting stuff in we can control. The MBA, we're going to say the MBA is going to cost $40,000, and it's going to be paid for with student loans. We're going to have to take out student loans, obviously. So if the MBA is, if we're in 2016, 27, 2018, let's say he goes back and starts his MBA in 2017, because he hasn't even applied yet, so it's going to take a while. And it's a 2-year program, so payments won't start until 2019. So we're going to put 2019 in here, and we're going to go down to student loans under liabilities, and we'll go student. And it already has a student loan in here, so I'm going to copy that, and then it's not going to be 8 years, it's going to be a 10-year payoff for the student loan. And that's going to be at 6%, so we can mark that down here, and we should actually just write 6% up here to be uniform. And of course these should all be justified left to make them look right. And oops, I got 2 percentages in here, and that'll take care of that. So now we've got this going on, and we need an amortization table here so we can stick it into the net worth, but also we need a payment up here. So we don't have a payment for the next student loan, so we have one student loan here. So what I'm going to do is simply insert a new line, and this is going to be student loan put it up here, MBA. And now we have student loan MBA, and we have a payment plan here. It's going to start, would we say we're going to start in 2019? So we have a student loan payment here in 2019, but we don't know quite what it is yet. So let's go find out what that payment is. We have an existing student loan amortization table over here. If you remember, we created this. So what we're going to do here to create a new one is, this is really simple. I go down here to the tab and I right click, and oh, you can't see that, can you? Well, if I move this up, hold on a second. If I move this up, you can. And I right click and it says move or copy, and I create a copy and hit OK. And now I have two of them. So this one I'm going to change the name. If I click on it, double click it, it'll let me change it to MBA. And now I have student loan amortization MBA. And the amount borrowed here, I'll move the window back down. The amount borrowed here is not $25,000 anymore. It is now $40,000. And the period is now 10 years, which is 96 payments. We're going to leave 6%. I don't know exactly what the rate is. You guys can look up the rate for student loans. I think it's 5 something, I forget. So the payment is $444 a month. You can see this amortization table would run out okay, except it's not long enough, because this was an 8-year table and we want to use a longer table. So we're going to grab this and drag it down, and that should still work. Yep, it still drags really nicely. So we go down to 120 payments. So we're going to go back up to here. Perfect. And we can get rid of all this yellow by simply clicking here and no fill. And so we're good with that. This is 20. Oh, actually, we don't get rid of all this yellow, don't we? No fill. Okay. And this is 2023, 2024. We're going to make this yellow so we remember where they are. And then we go 12 more, which is 96, and 12 is 108. So this is 2025. Whoops. And then this is 2026. And this is yellow, and this is yellow, and then we have all of our payments and the total amount that we will owe at the end of each year, so we can adjust our net worth at each point. And this is really easy to do. Once you've got an amortization table set up, you just change the amount, change the loan, and you can see how easy it is to figure out how much you owe and how much you owe each year at the end, because you're paying some principal back all the time. And you can see, if you look at the amortization table, there's a point in here where you start paying way more principal back. You're paying $200 interest, $244 principal, but as the balance drops, you're paying less and less interest. So you're paying almost no interest the last couple of years, which is why people usually don't pay off their loans in the last couple of years, because you're paying such a small amount of interest. However, remember, you're still paying interest, so it's still costing you something to borrow the money, just much less, because you front-end loaded it by paying it through an amortization type loan. So anyway, this is the amortization table. Now we know what to do with these. I am not going to do these on video because it takes too long. Just take this and you click the cell and you hit copy, and then you go back to your case study where you left off, and you get your student loan, and it goes in here. This is 2019. This is what I'll owe in 2019. You click here and then you hit paste, and then it comes up as this number with an error and blah blah blah, and we just right click and we hit just click the little table there, and it says paste values, and that way it just pastes in the values. So in 2019, to check what we're doing here, 2019 we owe $36,988. Whoops, I put that in the wrong spot, didn't I? We don't owe it up here. We're going to cut that out of there. We owe it down here in our net worth, right? So this is our net worth. This is a negative part of our net worth, our liabilities. Up here, what do we owe up here in our student loan? We owe our payment. So what was our payment? Oh, well, let's look. Our payment was $444.08. So I'm going to copy that and put it over here, at the monthly calculation is, and we're just going to put values only. There we go. And so we want to take that out to 2 decimals so we can see how much it is. And then this is our monthly value. So what's the annual value going to be of our payment over here? This is going to equal this times 12, and we want to leave that as being the number. So I'm going to put $sign in it. I don't think I necessarily need to here, but I'm going to $sign that way, and then this takes it. And these cells, oh, these cells already have a formula in them. Oh, that's not good. So we're going to hit clear, and we're going to take this, and this is going to equal this. Enter. And now every one of these cells should be the same, 53.29. So you're going to spend 53.29.98. I'll get rid of the 98 cents. Whoops. I'll get rid of the 98 cents and 53.29 per year in your student loan for your MBA. So clearly we're going to have a better job to be able to afford that. But for right now, put all the 53.29s in, and then go down and fill in all the 36,000, and then the next one, the next one would be 33,792. So you copy that, you go back to where you left off, and in here you just paste, and then click and say values only, and you have that number there. Get rid of and then at the end, of course, you can get rid of all of the decimals. So that will put all of the student loan amortization in, and then we can start doing some analysis. So I'm going to save that for the next video.